Hey y'all, welcome back. Now in today's video, we're going to be making bread. Now, don't freak out because this recipe, there's 5 ingredients and it's so easy. You need no mixer, no heavy kneading, no getting in there. It's so easy. Let me show you. So all you're going to need is yeast. You're going to need sugar, flour, and oil. Well, and water, of course. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to wash our hands and then we're going to get started. Okay, so now that we have washed our hands, we're going to measure out 1.5 tablespoons of active dry yeast with half a tablespoon of sugar and half a cup of warm water. Not too hot of water because you don't want to burn your yeast, and it can't be cold because then it will never rise. Warm water. So 1.5 tablespoons of yeast with half a tablespoon of sugar. And I just kind of swirl it. You can also take a fork. And then we're going to get half a cup of warm water. Okay, so I have half a cup of warm water. And then you're going to, I just like to stir it just to kind of make sure everything gets incorporated. And then we're going to set that off to the side because we need it to double in size. Breaking my kitchen. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to measure 5 cups of flour in the bowl. I just use a butter knife and I just scrape off the extras. So now that you had measured out your 5 cups of flour, you're going to use a 1/4 cup of sugar, a half a tablespoon of salt, and then incorporate that. Okay, so now that we have our flour, our sugar, our salt all mixed up, and we have our yeast, sugar, and water doubling, I just wanted to tell you that this actually is not my recipe. I do love this recipe, and I found this recipe from Grandma and Grandpa Griffith's YouTube. The one day I had tried Jordan Page's recipe for bread. I tried 3 other recipes for bread. For some reason, I just couldn't get it. And no matter how many times I tried, or I kept it going, or kept remaking it, maybe it's just me, maybe it's my mixer, maybe it's the products I used, I bought exactly the products, it just wasn't working. And no matter how hard I kept trying and trying and trying and trying, I couldn't seem to get it. So I was like, okay, Harm, do your research, get it done. I came across her page, and before I think it was like Grandma Griffith's page, now it's Grandma and Grandpa. They actually came out with a cookbook, so of course I jumped right on it and I bought it. My first batch of making this bread, there was no mistakes, there was no flaws, there was no problems, there was nothing. The only thing that I saw was she makes 4 loaves every batch. I don't need that many loaves, so I had kind of like, I mean, it's not hard science, and it's not, you know, something that you need to be super smart, but I like got it down to a T. I halved the recipe. I make 2 loaves every single time, and many times it's like 2.5 loaves because whatever's left over. So in the Griffiths way, let me start over. She just cuts her bread into fours, rolls it, and goes. I like to weigh mine. I like to make mine as fluffy as they can be and as yummy and just airy and just yum. So I actually measure mine, and I got it down to a science. So that's what we're going to do today. You do not have to measure it. Use your 5 cups, everything that I've had. I will have the recipe in the description box below, and I will also post it in the beginning of the video. But she does. She makes 4 loaves. I don't need that. So I measure it, and then there's always some extra that my daughter likes to play with, or she likes to foam her own dough, and that's what she'll have for dinner that night. So now that our yeast has doubled in size, I can show you. It's nice and bubbly. Yummy. Okay, we're going to dump it in, and then we're going to add a 4th cup of oil. You can use canola oil, vegetable oil. I personally like canola oil, but I don't have any, and Walmart has been out, and many stores have just not had it. Try with peanut oil, try with coconut oil, and let me know down in the comments. I just don't have a need for that, so we're just going to use good old-fashioned vegetable oil. Now, you're going to need 1.5 cups of water. I just like to run the same as what she does, because she even has a YouTube video on how she teaches you guys how to do this. She just rinse off the excess on the top, but 1.5 cups of warm water. So we have our 1.5 cups of warm water. We're just going to add that in. And then we're going to add a 4th cup of, I know y'all see that glare. There's nothing I can do. I'm so sorry. It's just the light that's overhead. I hate it. I got to figure a new way out. Oh, gosh. A 4th cup of oil. So I'm going to do kind of a messy mix just to get it all incorporated. To start mixing this with our hands. It's going to be a scooping, flattening, turn, scooping, flattening, turn, scooping, flattening, turn. So I'm going to just take off my ring, and I'm going to do this with one hand. Now in her video, she does like to get on the floor so she can get up over her dough and actually, you know, put her weight into it. This counters are a little bit shorter, so I'm okay to do it in the counter, but I really do like to do it on the floor, and then it's just so much easier on your knees. You're comfortable. So we're just going to scoop, we're going to flat. Now always have your flour standing by, because even though we have our flour mixed out, it can still be sticky depending on the elevation, the weather, if it's warm, if it's, you know, cooler. So it can still be sticky in certain spots. Always getting the little bits. See, right there is still a little sticky. I'm just going to grab some flour. Out the little bits. Okay, start to stick again. You don't want to add too much flour. We're going to do just a little bit more. And some more. And you see, I have a nice ball. It's not perfectly mixed. It's, you know, pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to oil this and the top of it. I'm going to get it covered in plastic wrap or aluminum foil or a cloth towel. And we're going to let it rise for an hour. And then we'll see what we got. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave this sit nice and wrapped in its big old bowl on the oven. Now you can set it in front of a window so the sun can hit it and can be nice and warm. I don't have any place in this house that I can set, like prop it up in front of the window. Even on my kitchen table, there's so many big trees outside, I can't even set it out there for it to get warmed up that way. So I'm just gonna leave it on the oven, and then it could take an hour, hour and a half, could take almost 2 hours to double in size. Sometimes I like to preheat the oven and like let the warmth from the oven kind of make it rise just a little bit faster. But in about an oven, we'll see what we got. Okay, so now that our bread has doubled in size, oh, look how good that bread looks. We're gonna punch it down, dump it out, knead it just a little bit, and then we're gonna divide it into 2 loaves. But first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray my pans. I'm good, thank you. With just some oil. Now, the scale that I'm going to use, I just got from Walmart. If I recall, I want to say it was like 15 to maybe 20 bucks. So we're going to try to get to about 1.5 pounds to 1 pound and like 1.6. Saving these because these will go over the loaves after you roll them. Get to 1.6. To roll and cut. So flatten it out just a smidge and roll and tuck. Roll and tuck. Roll and tuck. And form some more. And just drop it in your pan. Then I just kind of press it down. Here's one. Some butter and smear some butter over the top. I don't because I like the crunchy on the outside. So then you're just going to take your leftover plastic wrap. You're going to let these rise for 1 hour, and then once they double in size and they're nice and poofy over the top. Then you're going to put them in an oven at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Okay, so now that our bread has doubled in size, we're going to unwrap it and put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Now, if you end up getting busy like I did, this is maybe an hour and a half that it has risen, and my house is kind of cold. We turned the heat off today, but it's only like 50 degrees outside. If it does fall, that's okay. Just reshape it and let it rise again. If it happens a couple times, just keep reshape it, let it rise again. So we're going to put these in, and then in 20 minutes, we'll see how they do. So our bread has finished cooling, and we're going to go ahead and cut them. I'm going to cut both loaves, just go ahead and get them cut up and done. Now I am going to just cut one regular, but I do have a bamboo slicer, so I'm going to use that today because I love it. I got that on Amazon, and I will definitely link it below. Thank y'all for watching today's video. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you give this a try. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.